Alright, I am back with another New World video. Figured I was going to make a couple of these, and this is my next one here. I don't know, my buddy suggested the title, New World, New Thoughts, and I don't know, maybe I'll make that the title, but in general, I am sticking with New World, but I've kind of reached a point where I'm trying to decide what I make of it and how long I'm going to stick with it in the long term. I wrote an article today that was kind of lamenting just how really anemic the PvE quest system is, and the story is pretty much non-existent, and Destin wrote me and he's like, it sounds like you're quitting, and I'm like, but I'm not, and I just spent the last 45 minutes farming alligator skins. Like, I'm still doing things in the game. It's just that it's a very sharp divide from what I see in terms of what I like about the game and what is making me kind of think about dropping it, because I can see myself getting overly addicted to some aspects of this, but then other aspects just really not landing for me at all. As ever, I really enjoy the kind of mindless grind aspects of it. There is something just kind of like cookie clicker level gratifying about leveling up your wood cutting and your mining and your fishing and like all these different things. And kind of making numbers go up to make, you know, rarer and rarer crafting things for the purpose of just not really anything, just sort of getting to max level. And I guess it's all in service of kind of making you more powerful, and yet it feels like the enjoyment is in the journey, not really the destination here, because I don't know if I'm ever actually going to reach the destination. And then this is diametrically opposed to what I see as one of the most like absurdly mundane quest systems I think I've ever seen in any game like this. I mean, or any game period, really. Like, the quests are 99% the same. You go to an area, you are asked to search a bunch of chests, or hunt a bunch of animals, or kill a bunch of people, or maybe, if you're lucky, kill one sort of big boss character. And then you're supposed to walk back to town, or teleport back, or whatever, and turn it in. And each town has, like, a seemingly infinite number of these quests. I don't even know when they end. Like, you turn in 3, and then 3 more pop up that are pretty much identical. It reminds me a lot of Fallout 4's kind of much derided procedural quests, where they were just sort of infinitely generated, you know, nonsense quests that you could do as much as you wanted, and yet, like, you know, they were all just copy-paste. They were just randomized objectives. That's how this feels. I know this isn't like that. I know these are not procedural, and yet that is very much how it feels. The story in this game is non-existent. There's a cutscene at the beginning where your ship crashes and your captain or whoever is corrupted and you kill him, and then that's pretty much it for the story. There's not been anything approaching another cutscene yet. I'm level 25 or 26 or whatever. And even in the main story quest is essentially just what I described. It's the same as all the side quests for the most part. Even if you're like forging the staff of whatever, like to forge the staff of whatever, it's pretty much like go to this location, farm these materials, the end. And it is so mundane that like I can't really see it getting much better. There are a couple of areas where it seems a little bit outside that, where you can kind of clear these corruption breaches, although that is best done with a group of people. And then there are expeditions which have to be done with a group of people, which is why there's about 50 people standing outside of them just kind of waiting for group invites, unless you are like actively playing with your friends. But even those seem kind of like they're dungeons, and yet they're just sort of like kill these more fortified enemies. And that's kind of it. People are like, you know, you just need to read the story, read the lore. It's like Destiny. You got to just read the lore pages, and like that's where the story is. And like, fine, I'm okay with that. But like, I tried, and every story mission is something like, oh man, like find out what happened to this town, and then you read the journals, and it's like so and so was corrupted, and then the corruption spread, and oh my gosh, like so and so's a murderer, and like, the end, everyone turned into corrupted zombies that are now trying to kill you. Like, this is what every landmark is like, essentially. And I had to give up reading this stuff eventually because there was just nothing interested in it. You can listen to the conversations with the NPCs, but like, there's nothing memorable in those either, even if those have actual voice work. I cannot name a single character in this game, not one. They're all just kind of NPCs that blend together. And like, I don't even know like my faction leader, or like if there's even a person that runs my faction. There are just no characters in this game at all. And what everyone is going to say now is like, okay, that's just how MMOs are, but like MMOs are kind of split. MMOs are split between ones like this, where it's like a sandbox, and you're just sort of runescaping around and leveling up, and there's not really a plot or anything. And then there's other MMOs that are like theme park MMOs, which have an actual story component to them, like Guild Wars or Final Fantasy XIV. So maybe I've gotten into the wrong MMO here in pursuit of story, but I don't know if that's necessarily an excuse to have like literally no story at all, like not even kind of the barest hints of this. Like I was talking to Moxie or someone who was joking about like, oh, this is like the worst, story since Godfall. And I'm like, even Godfall had cutscenes. And like Godfall, like I at least sort of understood what the general purpose of that game was. And there was like kind of extensive lore behind it, whereas this is like kind of a new level of just mundanity. But that's the thing, is I still just enjoy the mechanical playing of the game. I enjoy leveling up my weapons and farming all this crap and like making my little meters go up, and it does that stuff very, very well. And I just wonder how long I can sort of sustain myself until it gets to the point where, the grind is just so unbearably like long, like I'm just not making progress anymore. Like, if it took 50 trees to get to whatever level of logging to get to, 100, 150, it's taking like 5,000 trees. Like I would probably call it a day then. And then just sort of figuring out how much of this game is based around what appears to be just sort of endgame PvP stuff. The kind of hardcore aspect of this seems to be giant faction wars that happen every so often. I am scheduled for one 4 hours from now with my clan that I randomly joined on my server. Apparently some other clan is trying to invade territory we own, and we have to like fend them off at a fort or something. I'm actually going to miss it because I thought it was yesterday and I signed up for it. It wasn't yesterday, it's today, and I have to go to a wedding in exactly 4 hours. So I am going to miss this. But like I watched Glad and Gathalion do it and get stomped by a rival team. And it's just pure chaos. Like I can see the appeal of it, and yet that was like a very coordinated kind of server of people like all rallying together to defend each other. Whereas like I would be doing this with a bunch of randoms, and like it seems like a ton of this is going to be reliant on kind of playing this with people and like grouping up and doing like more engaging content that is group focused. And that would be fine, except for the fact that, like, and I do have some friends playing this, but, like, this is, like, MMO server setup, where once I'm in a world, I'm locked into that world. So, like, if I want to play with Destin or something, like, I can't, because when we signed up in the first place, just to get in on day one, we signed up into totally, diametrically opposed worlds. And, like, I guess I should have coordinated with the Glad server and like been on that team or whatever, but like I also couldn't commit to like, yeah, I'm going to be like super hardcore for this game for the next 6 months, like all the people who are streamers on that stream are doing. So I didn't even want to insert myself there anyway. So it's weird, because now I'm in the situation where like I'm starting to hit content that needs a coordinated group, and yet it is just like total randoms on this server, and like that does not really appeal to me. Like other games, you have to group up for content and stuff, but like a game like Destiny, you only need 6 people to run a raid. You don't have to coordinate with like 40 people to do a defense of a zone or something. And they can be, now they can be on any platform. There's crossplay. Like there's no specific world servers. Like you have friends playing the game, you can invite them into your thing. Like, but that is not how these worlds work because of how MMOs are set up. I know some other games do this better, where you could hop servers easier. New World said they are going to invent something someday where you can world transfer. Like in world transferring, like then I'd lose this, like I wouldn't lose my character, I guess, but I would lose, whatever my clan has built up for me that I have joined here, and then I'd be kind of starting over on a different server. And it's just, it seems like kind of a mess in that regard, and like I don't know if I want to go that far down the rabbit hole. So what this seems like to me is like I am probably just going to keep doing these kind of like nonsense grinds just for the fun of it, and just because it's kind of like therapeutic almost to do some of these. Like, I'm alligator farming right now for skins. Like, it's just fun to, like, kill a bunch of alligators, run back, skin them, and like I'm trying to save up for a bag that holds more stuff, which will presumably let me hold even more alligator skins. And like it's all very pointless, but there's something kind of gratifying about it. But like the actual, like, there's no reason to care about the story. There is no story. There's nothing in that regard. And then like I know I will hit a point where solo play becomes like unbearable or impossible for a lot of higher end content, and I will be at a huge disadvantage unless I am like getting super hardcore into like the clan thing and the all that kind of stuff. So I know this is like an MMO thing, and yet I feel like New World is a little more strict with these rules than some other ones, and I just don't know if I can handle this in the long run. We're also coming up on a season where Far Cry 6 is coming out, Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out, these games I want to play, tons of games releasing in November, Halo in December, and then Destiny stuff all throughout this. I'm behind on Genshin. Like, is this enough for me to kind of stick with it? Is this worth how much time it takes when it's like, I can spend 2 hours completing like a scarce handful of these like collect 8 things missions and then running them back home and like, going up a third of a level or something. Like, is this the best use of my time? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can make that justification. So this is something I'm still trying to sort out in my own head. And I hope you've enjoyed my footage here of me trying to hunt buffaloes with a battle axe and then fighting pirates or whatever I'm doing here. It's kind of ridiculous. I think I screwed up where I just figured out that the main stat for spear is dexterity, and I've only been leveling strength, and so I may have just screwed myself. I think you can respec once for free, but I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just sort of flying by the seat of my pants, and we'll see how this ends up for me. But I probably will play this for, I would say, at least a couple weeks. I just don't know about the longer term. I don't know if I will still be playing this game in 2 or 3 months, a year, whatever. I could have said that about Genshin a year ago, and I'm technically still playing that. But you never know. And if the game, I guess, doesn't get any more depth to it, I just don't know how long I can just tolerate the therapeutic grind. Like, I think at some point I'm going to want something more, and I feel like I am maybe kind of approaching that wall pretty soon here. So anyway, let me know what you think about it if you're kind of facing the same thing, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.